Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a channel that you probably forgot existed, the ShiteTalk podcast. We called ourselves the the Kings of Consistency about a month ago, and well, it's been about a month since we've uploaded a podcast. Jack, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, lad. I'm good. You know yourself, like we're saying, just flat out doing stuff. But
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We fucked it again. But listen, I think it's fair to say that during that period, start of the year, where we were still very much in like the thick of lockdown, it was easier for us to kind of just sit down on a Friday and record one of these. And now it's kind of at a point where everything is opening back up again. You're back in work, I'm working as well, and it's kind of hard to find a time that consistently suits both of us, sort of thing.
Yeah. Facts.
But it'd be different if it was like our source of income or something like that. Like if we were making money off these boys, you best believe we would make sure we get one out every night of the week. You'd have a ShiteTalk podcast. But yeah, I think there's obviously one massive elephant in the room that we're going to discuss in this episode, mate. And I think Revatch is doing the L symbol right now. So we'll get into that in a minute. But before we do, as we do at the beginning of every episode, is there anything new, any big news in the world of Jack Revatch in the last month? I feel like there's probably going to be a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely one that sticks out on me. Now, this might not be able to stay in. Yeah, this might not be able to stay in. Just to announce to people. But anyway, coming back into it, lads. Just know that it was mental, and we for no reason whatsoever we can bring that up because it is
someone's life at the end of the day. Yeah, and it's too real.
Yeah, it's someone else's life. A serious incident, and we wish them all the best. But that was probably the most mental thing that happened to me.
Wow.
What else? Was there anything else that happened? I almost got run over.
How's this happening?
This is casual cutaway. Yeah, I just got run over. Yeah, mate, I was cycling right to work, and basically this like tractor was coming towards me,
yeah,
and there was a car behind me trying to overtake me.
Oh.
So to make matters worse as well, mate, the tractor's coming up like brow of a hill, and the car is like trying to overtake me on the hill, like basically.
Oh my god!
So you can imagine the shit that I was thinking in my head is like, I'm done, I'm finished, it's over. Now, to be fair to this lad, he did his best to give me as much room as possible.
Yeah.
However, when he came to the tractor, basically, the tractor, fair fuck to the farmer boy, he didn't pull in, he didn't slow down, he was going home for the day, he was finished. Anyway, so the car is coming, and he slowed down as much as he can, and he just gave Greebash a little nudge, a little love tap coming through.
Nudge?
Yeah, just a little. No, when I say nudge, lads, it wasn't like at 50 miles an hour. This is like, I'd say maybe 10, 50 miles an hour, but a little nudge, like slow enough that it's made me like shake the bike, and I'm like, oh jeez.
Yeah, but like even at that, you're on a bike, so like any sort of contact at all is gonna leave you rattled.
Yeah, I've fucked up. To be fair to him, he did actually slow. He waited for me at the bottom of the hill and made sure I was okay. Like he didn't like. To be fair, like, full disclaimer: no injury, no hard feelings. This person ever see something like this. But yeah, tiny little nudge. But if Breathe is falling the wrong way, curtains.
Yeah. Fucking hell. I was gonna mention. Was that incident more of a near-death experience than the one in second year at the Gaelic match?
Oh god, no! Oh god, the secondary school was like, there was like a moment where I was like, I'm going to one of these boys' funerals.
Yeah.
The car was slow enough that I knew that if I fell against it, I wasn't going under it.
But yeah.
The one in the secondary school was full speed trucker.
Yeah.
He was taking one of us, like.
Yeah, I suppose that one was probably more of a near death experience for me than you, because you got across
I was
fairly
saying, I was clear. You
in the
boys.
clear. Oh God. Any other crack, mate? Is it, or that's two pretty mad stories I have to say from yourselves.
Yeah, I know. I think that's it for Greebach. And other than like bog standard stuff like that, that's about it.
Yeah, fair.
What about yourself, then, mate?
Yeah. To be fair, the last month, a lot of it has been for me focused around. I've been watching the Euros, obviously paying a lot of attention to that, which again we'll get into in a minute. Apart from that, just your standard summer in Ireland so far, to be quite honest with you. I did get my first COVID jab.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did get my first COVID jab, and I'm in for the second. But was it? Well, we're at the 14th today, so the 30th, I'm back in for the second one of that, and then I'm clear. The pandemic is pretty much over for me. Then
away.
we're out the gap after that, but yeah, no, do you know which one you're going to be getting yet, or which
I don't fully know. I know that I've called, and when I called, they were like, "Oh, we'll just take your information, and basically, like, we'll have, like, you're ready, you're in. Like, we just need to get you a date, basically," which is fair enough. Like, I only really need it before start of college, so I can do placement and stuff like that. So once I have that, that's fine. I don't really care which one I get. I would imagine I'm probably getting Johnson Johnson,
right?
Which is, it's all right. It's one jab, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, that's to be honest, I probably would have preferred having just the one jab, having it over and done with. To be quite honest with you, but and I obviously got the Pfizer, and like it was fine. The arm was a bit dead for the next day after that, but apart from that, there was no side effects. I was all good. Are you getting it done in like your GP or like one of the jab centers or whatever? Like for me, it was like a drive-in vaccine. So
what? No way.
Yeah. So there's like this little center where you drive in. They're like, right, who's getting literally you roll down the window of the car. Danny drove us in. Two of us got it, and he drove in. We rolled down the window, and this one came through the window. She was like, "Okay, who's getting vaccinated today?" And gave them our names. She found our little cards that you see everybody putting up on their Instagram stories, telling them everyone that they're vaccinated. We got them with their names on them, and she just went, right, which arm you getting it in? Bop. Drive over there, park over there. 15 minutes. If you're fine after 15 minutes, out the gap, off you go.
That's mental.
Yeah,
I didn't actually know you could choose the arm as well. I thought they chose there's like a specific side you had to get. That's mad. I didn't know. I
got it in my right arm because obviously I'm left-handed, but it's a bit of a funny process because you go in and literally you just roll on the window. She puts the needle inside the fucking window of the car and does it feel like it's very casual, nearly like it's weird. It's weird.
But close the window down and just stick it straight in, like
bonk.
Yeah. Off you go, lad. You're fine.
Yeah. But yeah, no, exciting times there. It'll be great to have it done. And like yourself, man, main reason why I want to be vaccinated and have it done is obviously for college. I want to be back up actually living in Dublin. I'd rather not do college from home again this year.
God, no.
As fun as it was, it's not a vibe. It's not a vibe. But, the absolute thrills of that. But apart from that, just been making lots of videos. As you know yourself, mate, the second goal recreations episode from the Euros went out there today. Krivac had an absolute stormer.
It's funny, I watched it back because like the three like decent goals I got were completely the wrong technique, and every time I watch them back, it's just great. It's like me just trying to hit them as hard as I can because of the comments made prior to the incident. I just happy. I thought the video, to be honest, was great crack. Like I thought it came out really well as well.
Yeah, we got a bit unlucky. We got a bit unlucky with the weather on the day, to be fair. Like it started absolutely pissing down rain at the end, didn't it? You missed your penalty at the end.
I was gonna say, should we reveal if so, will we reveal that or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I even said it in the video. I was like, yeah, you fully missed that on purpose.
Yeah. So for anyone who just watched the video, or if you're watching watching the goal recreation video. So basically, it was in the middle of that rainstorm. It wasn't letting up. My lift was here, and the boys were just like, lads, fuck this. Like it's getting rainy. We're not going out for another like 20 penalties. Like, so I just said, put the ball on the spot, and I send it into Roll's head.
Yeah,
we call it a day there.
But you know what it was?
Fair,
I was gonna say, like, the penalty before that I took was the Panenka into the top corner. I tried to miss that as well because I wanted to go home.
And to be fair, it was a banging penalty, mate. A Panenka top corner, like, it's just unreal. Like.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's something as well. I just think is something that's a bit of a trend now is. Have you ever noticed, lads, if Greebach is having a stinker in the goal recreation series, he does tend to try the odd thing. Most recent one, I think, was that standing Rabona.
Yeah.
Broke my legs and got me, I think, 47 points.
47 points. It won you the episode, mate.
In history of goal recreations, there's never been 47 points. But,
no. To be honest, that one was just too special. That was too special. You couldn't not give it for that.
It's one of those moments where even like Ronaldinho himself is kind of like, he's got a set of bollocks on that lad.
Yeah, you
think about that. Like,
I don't even know what the thought process was going into that. It was like we were doing like Trivella's. It was the Modric goal, and it was like I was standing behind the goal, and as soon as I seen Greebach try this Rabona, I was thinking to myself, the video's over now, I think.
Greebach just killed it. Good man, Greebach.
Oh god. But I've been really enjoying YouTube recently. It's been great getting back out with yourself and the lads filming football videos. We've got a lot of big stuff planned, as you know, mate, over the next few weeks.
I'm buzzing for them, mate. If we can get them going, I'm buzzing for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for them either. And I can't wait to show you guys what we've got planned because we've got some big videos planned between now and the end of the year. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, before we go into football, I'm going to talk about a different football incident that happened, but it's obviously not in Euros related. Basically, I went in to watch the Keene United under-16s. We're playing, so like Josh's team, we're playing in their league final last weekend. And honestly, bro, it was one of the most crazy games of football I've ever watched in my life. So that they were playing against this team who were like on paper way better than them, like way better than them. And so we turn up anyway, and we went 1-0 up. Ollie Mansour, who has been in a lot of videos, he got the first one. And sorry, Ollie, if you're watching this, but that was a cross. That was not a shot. I fully, 100%. But yeah, Ollie put us 1-0 up, and then we were 1-0 up at halftime. We went 2-0 up just after halftime, and then they draw it back to 2-2, and then they go 3-2 up, and then we bring it back to 3-3. Goes to extra time, and with like the last kick of the game, the Keena striker runs in and buries it in the bottom corner to make it 4-3. As if that wasn't enough, we're going absolutely mental on the line, like as if it couldn't get any more mental. Kick off, the other team fucked the ball up the pitch. Our keeper comes absolutely storming out, plows their striker out of it, penalty with the last kick of the game. And I was like, no way is this about to go to penalties. Their striker steps up, who's a quality footballer, went down to Kennedy Cup with us. He steps up and he skies it, bro.
Nah.
And that was the last kick of the game, and Keena won 4-3. Oh man, it was an unbelievable game.
Oh, it was feel for that lad.
Yeah, I fell for him because that was a really unfortunate moment for him. But like, oh man, it was actually genuinely one of the most mental. And you know what? It made me miss playing football for like back in the day.
I was actually going to bring that up. Like, do you remember? Like, honestly, I will never forget this game because I went home. I was so furious with myself. I remember we won it anyway, but I remember being so thick like the whole day. Like, do you remember that time we were playing in? I think it was the same level, or maybe it was under 17 or
under 17,
something like that. Yeah, and we were playing. I can't remember who we were playing. Anyway, Greavash gave away the penalty there in the last whatever. Like, and then if he's watching this, is it Javier or what was his name?
Miguel.
Miguel. if you're watching this, I honestly
He scored the goals,
saved
yeah?
my life. Honest to God.
Yeah. He's
That
such a good footballer, bro. He's so good.
yeah, fact, he's unreal, mate. He was different gravy.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it absolutely made me miss playing football, and I really want to get back to it because you just miss it. Like I just do athletics at the minute, and obviously you just do GA, and I just miss that extra thing. I just miss playing football, man. It's just the adrenaline that playing a game like that. Like as much as it is like a Longford League final or whatever, like you still take it as if it's the Champions League final. Like, you know what I mean? And it's
I would out and like even back then, like it was like serious. Like we like
yeah, like
it's
all
as
the
big
lads are
as you
playing.
get. Like
Yeah, all the lads you're playing. There's bragging rights up for grabs. You know what I mean? Like you go back into school. Like I remember playing like our local rivals and going back into school the next day and just being like if we'd won again, just being like, yeah, fuck you guys. Like I love you guys, but fuck you at the same time. But yeah, good crack anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much all the news I have. I think we should move into the meat and drink of what this episode of ShiteTalk is going to be about. Euro 2020. I think the last time we made a podcast was, I think we were previewing Euro 2020, so it was just about to start when we made our last podcast, and it was an unbelievable tournament with so many highs and so many lows. How would you summarize it for us, mate? And from your point of view,
I honestly really enjoyed it. I thought it was, I think it was well needed after the shit had, and like I think a lot of people said, you hear especially about the English people saying it as well. It just lifted spirits. Like it was just having football to watch almost every day. And I think a lot of people were the same, or like it didn't really matter who was playing. It was just something football related on. It was a massive competition, and some of the goals we got from it, like we've done in the goal recreation, like some of the goals we've gotten from it are just quality. Some of the games we've got, there's been like mad score lines, extra time, late winners, equalizers, penalty shoot. Genuinely, I really do think the Euros had pretty much everything. Like we couldn't really have asked, maybe a few less own goals, but look, we'll say la vie. But yeah, I thought it was well needed. Probably one of the most enjoyable tournaments for me personally. I didn't really like. I was trying to think back. Like I can't remember the last time I really got into a tournament. Like I know, was it Euro 2016 was the last one, or was it 18? Or I can't remember.
Yeah. Euro 2016 would have been the last Euros, and obviously Ireland were at it, so we would have been well into it as well. And obviously the World Cup in 2018 as well. But I agree, like this tournament had a little bit of everything. And when you mentioned about the own goals there, I heard an absolutely mental stat. It was like from 1960 to 2016, there was 9 own goals in European championships. Right? Euro 2020, there was 11. That's a bit mad.
How do you explain that? How do you explain that then? Like an elite level of football, 11 own goals in one competition. Like
yeah, I don't know. I didn't quite believe it when I heard it, to be quite honest with you. And then I looked up the stats and seen all the scorers of the own goals, and I was like, that's a bit mad as well. But one incident we did have as well, which was quite kind of similar as well to the incident that you mentioned that obviously I've cut out of the podcast at this point. And the Christian Eriksen incident with in the Denmark game with Finland. And honestly, man, that was one of the scariest moments watching that. Like, not knowing whether this fella's going to be okay. And it made you think, like, if I'm playing a match and somebody collapses, do I know what to do? Like, do I know what the correct procedure is? Like, it made me rethink a lot of things. And God, you just never want to have to be in that situation. Like, it was so scary, wasn't it?
Oh, it was unreal. I think the worst thing, and I think everyone's had a dig at it now. I think the worst thing about it was that it ran on for so long that we all saw a lot of what we shouldn't really have seen. And that's not to take away, obviously, from the incident itself. The incident itself, scary and rightly so. And like I the images that were coming up were just genuinely like really, really concerning. And when the wall of players was made, and it just, like I say, it makes you think. And I think a lot of people then, like you say, mate, are just thinking now, like, hang on a minute, like Christian Eriksen, he's only, he's not old, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not like saying 60s, 70s, over like, he's a top level athlete as well, who most people just don't associate that kind of incident with. Like, there's obviously, top of the game, fit as a fiddle. You never really expect to see those incidents, and it's mad. And I remember actually, the day after, or like the week after, and like the weeks after it, just because I was kind of in the area, like I've been studying, like a lot of studies came out then, and there was a lot of studies highlighted about how often this actually happens, and like how, like, it's not maybe, like, I think it was a confirmed cardiac arrest, wasn't it, in the end?
Yeah, cardiac arrest, and he had no previous health issues either. So it was just a spontaneous, like, in the moment thing that nobody could have predicted, really. And yeah, man, like when it happened, I thought he was just after like being fouled, or was he tripped? Because it was like the way the ball hit him, and then he just kind of like ran
He just
forward a bit and
flopped.
collapsed. Yeah, like, oh man, it was so scary. But then obviously Denmark went out and had an absolutely unbelievable tournament, having lost their first two group games to go on and unfortunately lose in the semi-final to England. Like, it just shows the beauty of like the togetherness in that squad after that incident. Like, they shared that moment together, and I think that was the biggest, like, as horrific as it was. Like, I think that was the biggest factor in like how well they did. To be honest with you, they were so good. But I suppose another point to make about Euro 2020, there was a lot of surprises along the way as well in terms of results. And I want to talk about France for a minute, yeah? How they get knocked out by Switzerland. Like, that was, I think that might have been, for me, I think that's game of the tournament. That one, like, in particular.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely,
good.
I think, and in the way it happened as well, like, I think France at one point were a couple of goals up, and like, I tweet about it. I think you mentioned something about it as well. The like you say, when you talk about the beauty of the game, when Paul Pogba celebrates for 3 minutes, just dancing away, like, as he's and I'm a United fan. I like Paul Pogba, but he acted like such a prick when he scored that. Like, I like the first one, fair enough. 6 later, like, and I'm like, stop, mate, you're just doing it. And then go out on penalties. The goal conceded was from his mistake. Oh,
yeah.
What more could you ask? Like, really?
Yeah, to be fair to Pogba though, like, it wasn't his fault. I think he actually had a very, very good tournament, and I think he played well,
He did.
particularly in that game. I think he was probably France's best player, if I'm being honest with you. And the fact that, like, Mbappe was the man that missed the penalty as well. Like he was having a stinker of a tournament anyway. He hadn't scored, and then he has this chance, and he misses. That's another thing. There was a lot of missed penalties in this tournament as well. Like, there was a lot of penalties given, and there was a lot of missed penalties for whatever reason. Maybe, would you think it's something to do with the fact that players have been playing in stadiums without fans for so long, and now they've all come back in at once, and it's like you're put into that situation in a pressurized moment in a penalty with all the fans back in the stadium after, like, what, 12 months without them? Do you reckon that played a factor in why there was so many missed penalties?
I think it has to, realistically. I think the thing about it is, like, and I think people said it, when you're, say, for instance, now you're taking a penalty, when there's no fans there, I know as big a game as it is, and it still would be, is it more resonate in your mind that it's just on the training pitch again, in the training complex, it's just you versus the keeper, there's no one else, versus obviously now when you have potentially a couple of thousand opposition fans booing, jeering. Like, I definitely think it will get into some players' head. Definitely more the younger players as well, obviously, who aren't, as used to, like an experience maybe at, taking penalties at this level. I know Mbappe is a quality player, and he did have a fantastic previous international tournament, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fully agree with you. I fully think that fans rattled a lot of players here today in the Euros.
Yeah, I think it definitely played a factor, all right. And you would have thought a lot of them players would obviously have played pre-COVID and would like be used to that situation. But like, you don't know how big an effect it's going to have when you take the fans away and then you bring them back like so quickly, and you're put into that situation. And I think we've probably seen an element of that in the final, which I think we'll get into now. So obviously Italy won the Euros, and I think it was fully deserved, and I think England deserved to be in the final as well. But on the day, Italy were just a better side, but it looked for so long that it wasn't going to be that way. But I got a lot of stick actually in my video, basically saying that I was an Irish bias. I didn't think I was being that biased personally. I think I was just spitting facts, to be quite honest. But yeah, the poor old English, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, how many times have we heard it, mate? It's coming home, and then
I was so sick of that
rightly
phrase.
so.
I was so sick of that phrase.
Do you know what? It's to be fair, like I saw someone say like you can't be "It's Coming Home," like it's just one of those songs, and I agree.
Yeah.
But honestly, like you say, lad, every 5 seconds, England could be, just starting the tournament, a couple of months of the tournament. I was coming home. It's like stop. Would you like?
Yeah.
I think they play it in the stadiums as well. The other thing, actually, I'll leave this for later. But yeah, I couldn't be arsed since it's coming home all day, mate.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I was told in the comments that I should just kind of act the way I am, and that's unhappy that England have made a final of a European tournament. And I had no issue at all with Gareth Southgate or his players throughout the whole competition. No issue. I actually thought they were brilliant. Genuine. Now, were they a little bit boring to watch at times? Maybe. Maybe they were a little bit negative at times, but you have to admire that they were getting results when other top teams like Portugal, Germany, France, weren't able to get results. England were getting results, and you have to commend that. My problem with England during the Euros was with the fan base and the media, to be honest with you. Now, the fan base, like, we've already mentioned the whole "it's coming home" thing. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. Like, at the end of the day, "it's coming home" is just a meme, and a lot of people do recognize that. But I think it's the way a lot of the fans acted, like in the stadiums before. And like, I think there was a lot of fights, and they were just fucking acting a prick before games. And then there was, after the final, there was the whole racist abuse for the 3 players, and they're just not a very likable bunch. And as I said in my video as well, like, there is a lot of England fans that like watch my videos, and a lot of people from England that I've made friends with through YouTube, and like, lovely people. But like, and I know this group of people is a minority, but I think somebody said it was a Gareth Southgate or someone, like, it's a very loud minority, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing about it is, like you say, man. I think if Southgate said it, he said it absolutely perfectly. It's the minority that you hear the most. Unfortunately, it's the minority that is the ones that are first on these lads' Instagram socials. They're the first ones there to comment something obviously horrendous and something that should never ever be commented. And like you say, it's just so, it's unbelievable really to believe that you can support the team when they do well, but obviously when they lose, it's just like beyond anger, if that makes sense. Like I fully believe that you have to, like, something must be like fully wrong, like, for you to just say that and think like, that's okay, and like, you're entitled to say that. I know a lot of people will argue this and abuse the freedom of speech thing, but I think freedom of speech only goes so far, with 100%. And honestly, I know I think you said it as well, mate, but it was really, really upsetting to see. I know, obviously, we're joking around and saying, it's coming Rome and all this stuff, but I think seeing Saka miss the penalty, it was hard to watch, and I think everyone really knew when the three lads that missed, as horrible as it is to say, I think we all knew what was
coming.
Yeah. And that, I think that is the worst part of all this, is that even before it happened, we can see where it's going, and we can see what's going to happen. I think that is the major issue in sport right now, above everything else. Above everyone will argue that there's bigger issues in sports, and this stupid opinion that it's a political movement trying to, take the knee. I just think this is the biggest problem in football right now, and in sport in general. It's just risen to be uncontrollable, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I made a bit of a joke about it in my first video, like this incident where the fans were booing the taking of the knee, and I think that was the start of it, to be honest. Like you mentioned it as well. Like, I hate the fact that we all knew what was going to happen when we seen that. In particular, the three players that missed were black players. Like, we shouldn't have to have this, like, knowledge that this is going to happen. Like, and I don't know how you resolve this kind of shit. There needs to be able to be a way to hold people accountable. Like, I know you said the whole freedom of speech thing, but like, it's getting to a point now where people need to be recognized for what they've done. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know how you do that. Do you bring in? I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. Like, do you bring in an element of, like identification? Yeah, identification to use social media and stuff like that. Like, is that as far as it has to go? Because like, seeing the comments sent to those three lads, like, as much as it's England,
they're ridiculous.
Yeah, like, as much as it's England, like, my heart absolutely went out to Rashford, Sancho, and Saka the other night. Like, it was, man, it was absolutely horrific. But yeah, that's a problem that me or you will probably never be able to solve. But like, we can bring we can bring attention to it, but we can't solve it. That's up to the people upstairs to fucking put time putting into it.
On a more, just change the subject now, and obviously I don't mean to change the subject from that, but just because I think, like you say, we've addressed it, and I think we should try and, like you say, talk about the game. What did you actually think of the game in itself? Like, tactically, obviously Southgate started five at the back, I think it was a diamond formation with two holding midfielders. What did you make of him changing the formation? Do you think it was the right thing to do, playing five at the back? Because I think it was fairly obvious what the intention was. Yeah. And it played out like that.
Yeah, well, I think when you look at the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, and if you looked at Southgate's changes, it looked like it was working perfectly, because you had Trippier and Shaw were up very, very wide. That's how Shaw got his goal. Trippier crossed it and Shaw just running in on the back post. You had Sterling on the left, or Sterling on the right, and Mason Mount on the left. Like, the fullbacks had no protection there, because they were getting no cover from Verratti or from Barella. So they were just getting exposed. And for some reason, I don't know why, like, when England scored, I feel like they could have got a second. And if you get a second inside the first 20 minutes in a final at Wembley, like, in your own backyard, you don't know what that's going to do to the opposition. And for some reason or another, they just stopped. They're like, what? You broke my mic. The tempo just stopped for some reason. I, like, if I was English right now, I'd be looking back on this game with regrets. As much as, we say, it was negative, England absolutely dominated that first 15, 20 minutes. And I genuinely think with Harry Kane dropping back into those spaces as well, he was creating some amount of problems. And instead of him getting in on the end of the crosses, it was either a Mount or a Sterling, and, Shaw, as it turned out to be, who got the goal. But if I was English right now, obviously I'd be very proud of what the team achieved at the Euros, but I'd be left with a lot of regrets, because they let Italy off the hook, in my book. I think they let them back into the game. And when they started giving the likes of Jorginho and Chiesa and, Barella time on the ball, they started creating chances. And they really thought, for some reason, that they could hold out a 1-0 lead for like 75 minutes. Like, I don't care if you're playing with 5 at the back and 2 CDMs. You're going to do very, very well to keep out that team. And as we found out, you know, what happened, and England
Not
lost the
possible.
game. But yeah, what did you think, Matt?
Oh, just exactly that, lad. I think it worked. The formation definitely works. In the sense that obviously you had the overlap there with Shaw and Trippier. I think the two boys in the middle, Rice and Phillips. I think Phillips within the first 30 seconds showed exactly what the intention was, and absolutely collatered one of the Italian players. And I think them kind of breaking down that midfield, which obviously Italy do, and forcing them to kind of go out wide and these long kind of passes. It worked, but I fully agree. If I was English right now, I definitely would be upset that like you say, you didn't go for the second. I think the second inside the 20-25 minutes, Italy would have been seriously hard done to try and get back from that. Again, I fully agree that you can't play like that. Obviously, then sit behind the ball for 70 odd minutes. It's just not how you win football realistically at a top level.
Yeah. Well, look, we've seen it done. Like, we've obviously seen it done. Like, remember, like the Jose Mourinho sides of the past that were so good at soaking up pressure and hitting teams on the break. But I just don't think England have that quality of defender. Like, don't get me wrong, Harry Maguire had an excellent Euros. John Stones, Kyle Walker, they were all brilliant. But I just didn't think they had enough there to keep Italy out for as long as that. Because, like, that is... to set up to defend for that amount of time, I think is very physically demanding. And I wasn't sure that after a whole tournament where you're playing in 20-25 degree heat every game, I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to have the engines to get through it. And obviously they didn't in the end. The goal was a bit of a lapse in concentration really from the corner. Obviously I think Chiellini gets a flick on. Verratti heads it against the post. And Bonucci absolutely bundles it in. And yeah, I'd be very, very disappointed if I was Southgate in England right now. And look, again, they'll be very, very happy that they managed to get to a final. Like, I predicted them to get knocked out in the last 16 simply because I seen who they could have been playing in that round. But yeah, no, to get to the final is brilliant. But I'd be disappointed personally. I'd be quite disappointed with just the manner of their defeat. And I think Southgate will get a new contract, and I think he will be there for the World Cup next year. But if I was English, I think I'd want my team to play a bit more of an attractive style of football, to be quite honest.
That's what I was going to say, and it was the point I was going to bring up later. Obviously, England had 90% of their games in Wembley. So obviously home advantage and all this. Now, obviously, this whole moving around for international competition, I think, has been binned by UEFA. I think so. They're not going to try it again. It was an instant concept, but they're not going to go with it again. I personally believe in Wembley, with majority of English crowds, like you say, it would have been nicer to see a bit more, attacking-minded football. And again, I know there'll be people from England saying, like, but it worked. It doesn't matter. It worked for the odd game. And it did. Like, we'll call it a spade. It worked, and Southgate got it right 90% of the time. But at home, 90% of the time, you want to see your side going forward, giving it to the opposition, instead of just trying to sit back and defend. Even if it is like a winnable tactic, it is a bit boring to watch, especially at home.
Yeah, 100%. And we've seen it in a lot of their games. Like Croatia, they scored, they shut up shop. Okay, they won the game. Scotland, they never really came out of their shell against Scotland. And obviously that game finished 0-0. Czech Republic, they got a goal or two and then sat back again. I think their only game, actually, ironically, away from the only game that they really looked really good, like in an attacking sense, was away against Ukraine in Rome when they won 4-0. So yeah, not really sure what the problem is there. But look, we're by no means saying that we think Gareth Southgate should be sacked or anything like that. Like, again, at the end of the day, as you say, man, let's call a spade a spade. They finished second in the European Championships. He's got them to a semi-final in the World Cup in 2018, and he's gotten them to the final of the European Championships in 2020, or 2021. And you can say, they beat Germany, but they had a really easy route to the final there. And while that is a valid argument, but like regardless of that, they did it. You know what I mean? They still had to do it. Like teams like fucking France and Portugal weren't able to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So I've no issue with England, to be quite honest with you. And I think if I was English, half of me would be delighted by the fact that we managed to get to a final, but the other half would be full of regrets of what could have been if we'd actually, gone for it when we were on top in the first 20 minutes. But I think Italy overall were absolute worthy winners. We haven't given them too much credit in this podcast so far, but they were excellent. Like, they actually did play a very attractive style of football, didn't they? And one of their key players was our boy Jorginho. I think he has completed the full-on redemption arc at this point. Like he has been.
Yeah, I think it has to be said. I think I read actually somewhere he's strongly contested for the Ballon d'Or or something like that. He's in consideration. I know that's a stretch. Yeah. I know, but like you say, mate, I think he's done, like, from where he was and the days where myself in particular were ripping the piss out of him.
I'm guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Like it's unbelievable, the transformation, and it's good to see as well. I suppose that he's gone. He's won a lot now. He's won.
Well, obviously, he won the Champions League with us. He's a 2-time European champion in the same year. So I mean, that's
what more could you want? Like,
yeah. But like, for people saying he's up for Ballon d'Or, and I think that's complete waffle, to be honest. I
think realistically this season, mate, there's only one man that should be winning the Ballon d'Or.
Are we thinking of the same person here? That's what I'm wondering.
We have to be thinking of the same person.
Well, I was going to mention it, but I think we're seeing a certain Argentine going to win his 7th Ballon d'Or. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's, if you've seen his stats in the Copa America, oh my God! And the fact that it's his first one, and honestly, you said it as well, mate. Delighted to see him win it. Fully deserves it. He's been a quality player, and he deserves to have an international title. But mate, he was different in that tournament. He was. Say what you want, lads. And I know people, and like I see, like, these people are like mad into the Ronaldo, Messi argument. People saying, "Oh, Copa America, it's not the same standard as the Euros of the World Cup." Doesn't matter. He's done it, mate. And that's the one. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, like that's the one checked off the checklist, and that's an international trophy of any kind with Argentina is the one that Lionel Messi wanted, and that by itself is good enough. But as you say, mate, his performances. He's not only just won it, he's won it. Top scorer, fucking best player in the tournament award, and his side have won it. Now, I stayed up to watch the final of the Copa America on, I suppose it was Sunday morning. I think it started like 1 a.m. or something like that. But they won 1-0. Di Maria scored, but Messi should have scored himself, mate. It was literally last 3 minutes of the game. Rodrigo De Paul plays him in 1-on-1 with Ederson. I'm thinking, yes, this is it. This is the icing on the cake. Messi is going to seal the win. And he tried to go around Ederson and he fell over the ball. And I was like, that is the most un-Messi like thing. I was like, I pray Brazil don't equalize now that he's after doing that. But Argentina, I mean, they're not a great team, are they? But fuck me, they didn't even deserve to win the other night. That's the funny thing. Brazil were actually the better side. They fully were. Like, Neymar was just getting absolutely kicked around the place, bro. He was getting kicked.
I suppose that's what you have to do, to stop him. He's that good, like.
Yeah, he was absolutely ridiculous. Like, first one of the game, he just flicks one over like Otamendi's head or something like that, and I was like, yeah, you're definitely gonna get kicked at some stage, man. Yeah, but like I thought, it's a massive moment for Messi, and I think he's officially, as if he hadn't done already. Like people always made the argument, oh, he never performed for Argentina, even though he has done. Like that's finally the big one off the checklist for him, and yeah, I couldn't be more happy for him, to be quite honest with you, mate. It was absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Let me see what else. I was going to mention something else, mate. You didn't stay up to watch I think it was also Sunday morning as well. The Conor McGregor fight, did you?
No, but a lot of people in work were talking about it, and I saw the image of the leg and the ankle.
Oh my god!
It was a full-on L, literally in the shape of the L.
It was. It was
horrible scene. But yeah, big old Conor McGregor, round one.
So bad. So it was actually one of the worst injuries I think I've ever seen in my life, mate. It was so bad. Absolutely horrific. Now, would you say you're a big Conor McGregor supporter, or were you ever a big Conor McGregor supporter? Because I know personally, when he was like at his peak, I was like, I would never have been at a point where I'd stay up and watch his fights, but I'd immediately be on the next day to watch the highlights and stuff. And I thought he was always such a showman. And when he was able to walk the walk as well as talk the talk, that made it so much better. But these days, I just can't. I think I kind of wish he'd just retire at this point, because he's just embarrassing himself, man. He's just embarrassing himself.
Yeah, I look. What I'll say is, I like McGregor. I freaking love McGregor in press conferences, in interviews. He's so entertaining, like you said, to watch. I think a lot of people have the opinion now that he is like I don't know if prize fighter is the right term, but he's a money person, as in, like, you know, it's past the point where he'll get title fights, and it's now a case of fighting big names, money movements, money talks, all this kind of stuff. And that's all well and good. I know this one wasn't really a money one. It was more, I think that there was a trilogy, or the end of a trilogy. I think him and this lad have fought twice. They both won one each. So this was the definitive one.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. I don't really know where I stand. I like Conor McGregor. I just think he's entertaining. I don't know whether he has it. And the thing is, I was saying to people in work, that kind of injury that he sustained, like in a sport like that, everyone's going to know now, right? Conor McGregor had that injury on that leg, on that position.
Yeah.
So target that leg, target that position. That has got to be rumbling in the back of his mind if he ever goes back. And personally speaking, mentally, I don't think you could do it again. Because if you were to get a kick, and if the kick is right and powerful enough,
you're losing a lot of progress there. You're losing a lot of progress if that happens again. I think it was a hard watch for someone who, you know, we're fans of McGregor because of how different he is to most other fighters, and like just how bloody entertaining he is. Like, I think himself and Dustin Poirier are quite different in the sense that Poirier is like he's a real kind of hard working, doesn't really take part in a lot of bullshit. That's kind of the kind of vibe I'm getting from him. And McGregor's press conference with him again was very entertaining. Don't get me wrong. And he said some things that I was kind of like, oh shit, like this guy means business again. But I don't think I was going to bed on Sunday morning after the Copa America thinking to myself, right, McGregor's going to win, because, you know, I don't think he's won a fight in like, okay, he bet, who was it, Cowboy Cerrone, like last January or something like that. But he's not won a big fight for a long time. Like Cerrone was just kind of like Cerrone's coming towards the end of his career. I think it was Cerrone's last fight, and it was just a fight to try and get Conor back winning. And then, like, after the whole Khabib stuff, and then he fought Poirier, lost, and now obviously he fought him again. He seems to think they're going to fight again, himself and Dustin Poirier. I don't really see the point at this point. Like, as you say, the injury he's gotten is one of those that mentally as well as physically will have an effect on you from like forever now. And it was just a bit of a hard watch seeing him absolutely like, did you see him chatting shit on the ground as well? Like his leg broken, and he was like, "Your wife is in me DMs. I'll chat you later, babes," and all this. I was like, "Oh, this is hard to watch, man. Like, what is he on?"
Yeah. I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, like you say, mate, it's one of those ones where, like, he's lost, and I think definitely the emotions will be running high. I think, I don't know. There obviously is maybe a respect issue. I don't know if there's something. I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't actually followed this whole Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor thing. So I don't actually know if there's anything going on. I heard about the whole wife DMs, and he said he had a screenshot.
Yeah, of course he does. Like, of course he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to pass the opportunity, even if it is just like it could be a harmless message or even a hack or something like that. No, you're never going to pass up the opportunity for that. But it was definitely difficult seeing him try and still chat shit. And he was saying anything as well, you know, we'll see you outside or something like that. We're going partying in this club, and he gave him the club and everywhere. It was like, stop, come on. It
was like a desperate last kind of clinch at any sort of fucking, I don't know, dignity or whatever from, but like it wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look at all. And it kind of symbolizes once again the fall of a titan. Like, I think people are looking at Conor McGregor now and going, it's an easy fight. Like, I don't think people,
that's mental even to say, like,
to say that, yeah. But like, looking at the whole Poirier thing, actually, you were saying you didn't really follow it that much, but like, weirdly enough, there was a lot of respect between them before and after the second fight. Even when McGregor lost, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this again. You know, we're all good." And even the press conferences, they were all just bantering with each other more than anything else. And for whatever reason, maybe to sell pay-per-views, I don't know, but things just turned ugly. And it's the fact that McGregor's lost in such a horrible way, really. It's not a good look for him at all. But he'll be out for a long, long time with that leg break, and I don't know if he'll ever be like. He's not even at a good point at the minute, like the way he is. But I don't think we'll ever see Conor McGregor be at his best ever again. Personally, I would have even been questioning that before the leg break. But yeah, poor stuff. I'm gonna have a quick check, actually, mate. If we have any questions on now, don't hold out any. Don't hold out any hope. Don't hold out any hope. Let me see. Okay, I have someone ask me if we're going to talk about the Euros. So we've done that already, and that's literally it. It's like, what else are we going to talk about, man? Fucking hell.
just banter about the Euros.
Yeah, fucking chat shit. But yeah, no, I think we'll leave it there, lads. I think we've gotten through a decent amount there today. Obviously, it's the return podcast. We don't know when the next one will be at this point. We don't have like we don't have like a consistent upload schedule like we did a month ago and prior to that. So we'll try and sort something out. We'll try and get back to the once every 2 weeks if we can at all. But like we said at the beginning of the episode, stuff is heating up at the minute, and we're both pretty flat out. So, anything else to add to that, Mr. Great Match, before we wrap it?
No.
No.
That's all. No.
All right. Well, that is it.
There's something to say there. It's all, but it's none.
Nothing came. Oh God. Right. We'll wrap it up there, lads. We hope you did enjoy this episode 23 of the ShiteTalk podcast. We'll hopefully be back soon. Leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new, and we will see you next time. Take care and good luck.
Woo!
Woo! We back.